Hello everybody and welcome back. This is match number 2 between two Protoss players, JangBi and Shuttle here, going to be on the map Luna. And what a day we have had so far. This has been quite exciting. Thank you GOM TV for supporting Classic number 4. And we are going to be heading into this 4-player map. Players are spawning at the bottom right and the bottom left here. We're going to identify which one is which very shortly here. If you are confused about which player who you need to cheer for, the color will change above where their name is presented on the right and left side. So just kind of keep a watch out. I'll point it out once the color does change here, and we'll know where these players are specifically positioned. So we are watching as Shuttle, he has a 1-0 lead, and in every game or matchup so far, it has been completely one-sided. We have not had a game number 3. Is this going to be the same fate for JangBi? I know he's a huge fan favorite. This Protoss player, he's the most recent OSL winner, and everybody would love to see him win a tournament, especially with him not advancing in the Sonic Star League. It's going to be very hard for him to win here against a Protoss player so good as Shuttle, especially when you saw the mistakes that were provided by JangBi. Both these players, though, what is going to happen? We did not see a probe just scouring the map yet, so I did not anticipate any sort of proxy play from them. And still, they have not identified the color of the Protoss players quite yet, so we're going to have to wait that out. And a sign here, what does that say? That might be a chemistry formula. If you guys know any English and have taken a chemistry class, that looked like a chemistry formula. I think that may have been H2O combined with Pockery Sweet, and that might be the key to winning StarCraft. So JangBi, he is the left side player. Shuttle, he is the right side player. As you can see by the color above their names, they finally have that filled in. And I wonder if they were as confused as I am, because it really is hard to read Korean. So we have a triple caster combo going down for the Koreans. And if you guys listen to the Korean commentary at any point in time, I hope you do enjoy them as much as you enjoy listening to the English cast that I'm providing to you today. So 13, 14 probes for either player. So they seem to be just right on cue as far as their macro goes from the Nexus. Meanwhile, whoa, okay, so there is a pylon, a mana pylon inside of Shuttle's main base, which is going to block some mining here. He's going to have to attack it with his probe and eventually kill it off with that Zealot, but there is a gas that has been taken. Both players took their gas very quickly here instead of going for a second gateway. So with this gas heavy build from both players, what can we expect? Probably not Dragoons. This could be just teching up the Reavers as per usual here. I think a lot of players like to go for 2 gateways and then a Reaver, or go for a robotics facility so you can build the Reavers and go for those attacks here. And oh, a pylon block here. Again, blocking many probes. JangBi doing a really good job here. And so Shuttle not able to get his probes out right away. And now there's a Zealot inside of the base too, trying to do damage on top of these probes. He actually manages to take one out, getting 1 kill off right now. And finally the Zealot is able to finish him off. So Shuttle, he's got to continue to take out that pylon. But this harassment is just insane so far by JangBi, putting down 2 mana pylons, bringing his Zealot in. Just it didn't set him too far behind in economy, but what it definitely did is aggravate Shuttle. So the core is spinning, which means that they are getting the range upgrade. By they both have that core spinning. So that's going to be really good. Giving that upgrade to the Dragoons makes them just so much more feasible in battle, as emphasized all the time. So there is a probe coming across the map, but what is its purpose? Where is it going to go? Maybe it will have a hidden expansion in the top left. Lots of options in PvP once you start to head towards that mid game. You just got to survive that really hard harassment early on from either player. These Protoss opponents, they just don't let up. Meanwhile, the luck of the Kakaroo is flying around inside of Shuttle's base. And, oh, this Dragoon, it's getting hit by a Zealot and a couple extra hits from that Dragoon of JangBi. Shuttle's not playing really well. Could this be JangBi's game? Can he win this? I'm really excited to see if JangBi is able to overcome Shuttle and take this to an ace match. he's definitely showing at least some cute little micro moves to shake up his opponent. Instead of laying down that trash talk like we saw at the beginning of the first game, in the second game here, it's all calm and silence. Now again, this is a map that may not be familiar to you guys, and it's less familiar to me too, because it really fell off the scene right when I started to join in and watch Brood War, because it stopped being played in April 2006. So that's shortly after I started watching, because 2005, 2006 was really when I started getting into Brood War and watching it live. Of course, I was very familiar with the famous matches from Boxer 2004 and earlier. He's really, you know, what got a lot of people in to StarCraft is especially watching it. And look, another pylon here. A frustrating move by JangBi here. But I wonder if that was even worth it, you know, to put that pylon up and then cancel it. But it doesn't matter here. There is no expansion by either player, which means that it kind of looks like both players are going for that 2-gate Reaver that I was bringing up a little bit earlier. But that's a lot of Dragoons. So let's do a count for these units. 6 Dragoons for Shuttle, 1 Zealot. 3 Dragoons for JangBi, 1 Zealot. But the Reaver is on its way. He's going to have that for defensiveness here. And a pylon looking, or not a pylon, a probe. Pylons cannot do buildings. So a probe looks to build a natural base for Shuttle. Looks like another pylon is going to be dropping down here. That probe, yes, definitely poised to expand. And maybe he will use those 6 Dragoons that he has disadvantage to kind of apply pressure towards that natural base and maybe put a little bit of contain on JangBi. But as soon as that Reaver is shown, it's going to be really easy to bust out if you wanted to. So Shuttle, he is just staying in a strong position to defend the natural base and defend his main, especially if something like a Shuttle drop decides to come in there and raid his main base. So how long before we do see these Reaver drops? That Shuttle's still waiting there for 1 Reaver to get popped out. Meanwhile, 8 Dragoons now to 5 Dragoons of JangBi. The natural base, that Nexus, is up on its way. So very interesting from both these two players here. While Shuttle, he does not have a lot of individual accomplishments. He was a pretty solid player in Pro League. Very reliable for STX Seoul. Made the team really fun to watch. Always was second fiddle to Cal though, who really, you know, outshone Shuttle, except for in the PvP matchup. Like I said earlier, that 60% win rate is so hard to maintain, especially in a matchup like PvP, where build orders do play a huge role in the start of the game. But he was so good at defending the early game that he could take his opponent to the mid and late game, and his understanding of how the units work in PvP is just like the perfect play for this chess match. And look at this, the Shuttle. It might just hide behind the Kakaroo as it makes it into the main base here. And the Observer is constantly looking for the drops too. Really aware. And maybe these units outside of the natural base can kind of draw his opponents back. The Observer, though, for JangBi, it does get taken out, but may have shown that there was a small opportunity to bring units in. And now he's coming in the back. The pylon there at the back of his base. Shuttle reacts so perfectly here. It's like these players just stare at the mini-map but know where to put their units, and they just click around by only staring at the bottom left-hand corner. It's really incredible how well these players can react. It's just it's on a dime. And this is why we watch high-level StarCraft from Korea, because these Korean players doing so well. Coming from the Brood War 1.0 era, both these players are known very well here. And it's very exciting to see JangBi competing on the same level as Shuttle, who had a very nice year last year in 2013, Sonic Pro League, Sonic Star Leagues, and Sonic ranking tournaments overall. I would say he was maybe the 2nd or 3rd best Protoss player. Movie obviously taking #1 in the 2013 timeline. And it looks here like Reavers are going to be slow crawling their way towards the front here. And oh my god, he loses one of the Reavers. Really good shots off from Shuttle. That was just the luck of the draw. JangBi slacking on that micro. It's 1 Reaver to 2. And doing an attack on top of that pylon, drawing the Reaver Scarab to attack right there on top of that front building. Meanwhile, there's a third Reaver down for Shuttle, and he does have 14 Dragoons to the 12 Dragoons of JangBi. So clear lead defensively. Shuttle will win that battle. JangBi, he's going to have to pull his units back. If he did not lose that additional shuttle, this game would have been different. But losing a shuttle here, and he is losing another Reaver. So he has 0 shuttles, he has 0 Reavers, and only has the defensive 14 Dragoons. Meanwhile, Shuttle's army is looking very strong here. It's going to be a long time before more Reavers can come into play for JangBi. Especially with just one robotics facility here. It takes so long to build those Reavers. And Shuttle, he might just push out because of how strong his Reaver advantage is. This is going to take some heavy macro from JangBi. He might need to drop out another gateway too and try and get more units out because he's not producing enough ground units to keep up with shuttles. So here we see a forge. And the purpose of this forge is going to be for upgrades. He really does not need cannons, but a forge is coming down for Shuttle too. So both these players realizing that if they're going to enter into the mid game, that upgrades are going to be pretty dang important. So if he can get +1 attack on top of his Dragoons, then he will be very difficult to fight against, even if there is a 2 Dragoon lead for Shuttle. Now only 1, it slimmed it out, 2 Reavers out, 2 for JangBi. So somehow he's able to miraculously come back here, but the engagement, these 2 Reavers are getting shot off real quickly here. And the Reavers, they're doing damage for JangBi, but there's no shuttle here to micro him back. He's going to have to be very careful, and a lot of damage on top of Shuttle's army. He is pushing him back, and engaging through that choke point was very difficult. The shuttle does fall too, and Shuttle loses 2 of his Reavers down to 1 Reaver. The Dragoon count is still at 14, 9 Dragoons for JangBi, but I think he basically did a really good job defending inside of that engagement. Shuttle made a huge mistake here by losing that shuttle from the Dragoon fire. Really good shots got off from those 2 Reavers that came out just in time for JangBi. I think that he is fine. There hasn't been enough economic damage here from Shuttle to put JangBi behind. It's really just sort of a little bit of an army difference. I know 6 Dragoons can be quite a bit here, but given time and maybe the superior macro of JangBi, especially since he's such a good late game player in his other 2 matchups against Terran and Zerg, I would expect that he could come back inside of this game. Both these players are getting really low on minerals though, so it may come down to who can take the third first. Now, seeing a pylon out over at that 9 o'clock means that JangBi could be going for that additional base. And if he can take a third successfully, he could win this. A Dark Templar! It is out though. A cannon built inside of the main. It's not going to be enough. The Dark Templar is able to just still stay barely alive here. Runs away. Of course, it cannot come back inside the main and do harassment like it really wants to. It's not going to be able to get down to that natural either. And unfortunately, Dark Templars were not quite the right choice for JangBi. Shuttle defends it very well. And the upgrades are on the way for these players. Meanwhile, we're seeing that the Dragoon count is evening up just a little bit here. But when is the third base going to come down for Shuttle? Or is he going to invest more into army? A third Nexus coming up means that JangBi could take a huge lead here if he's able to start mining from that third base. High Templar are coming out though. Meanwhile, JangBi morphed his High Templar into an Archon. So both players are choosing to forego. Oh, he almost lost his High Templar. That may have been the reason why he was forced to go into the Archon mode. But morphing into that Archon, he does have a probe out to take that third. So Shuttle, he could be on third base shortly too. But JangBi, it looks like he will be taking a lead. Another Dark Templar in here. It doesn't have a kill. Or was that Shuttle's? Okay, that was Shuttle's Dark Templar. Looked for quite a second there that it could have been JangBi's inside of the main base. And it looks like JangBi's just forgetting to take storms. Not forgetting, he's just foregoing. That's more of the appropriate term here. And without storms, it's going to be really hard to take a huge advantage of your opponent if the opponent has more units on the playing field. But Shuttle, it looks like he's going to leave a few High Templar here. And with those storms, he might be able to win the engagement. It's going to be very difficult. But the one thing that Luna is going to allow here is the wide open area for these players to have just a massive war. It could be epic. if they meet right into the middle. Otherwise, one of the players could get caught out of the position if they try and engage across the bridge. It could be really detrimental. We've seen PvPs before where the Protoss player will try and storm across the bridge with a little bit of impatience here. The Reaver almost getting taken out. What? Micro from Shuttle, barely picking that Reaver up just in time. You can see that its health was getting really low here. 3 Archons are out for JangBi. Meanwhile, only 1 Archon for Shuttle, but he has 3 High Templar to the 2 of JangBi. And a 3rd Nexus is on its way. Meanwhile, there is mining for JangBi at that 9 o'clock position. So, while Shuttle does have that open area, JangBi, he has good control over the 3rd base. And it seems like he's just going to continue to reap the benefits of having that early 3rd. There's absolutely zero punishment from Shuttle. But if Shuttle can have a 200-200 army battle with JangBi, it won't mean it won't matter much that he took such an early 3rd here. The Nexus is finished up, and now the economies are just going to kind of even out again. The mining is going to catch up, and you can see that the Dragoon count is really low for JangBi compared to Shuttle, sitting at 11 Dragoons, and a nice storm here. 2 Zealots, or 2 Reavers dropping down Scarabs, doing massive amounts of damage. This is going to be really hard for JangBi. He's going to have to engage here. He wants to find the Protoss opponent Shuttle out of choke point here, and a Reaver does end up getting taken out. The Shuttle is microing 1 more Reaver behind this. The Archons are laying waste against this front line here, but storms are coming in. Are these 3 Archons and 2 Reavers going to be enough for JangBi? It looks like while the Dragoon count is low, he still has a decent amount of high-tech units here. And pushing forward, Shuttle could be in a lot of trouble, but these Dragoons, they're getting microed very well here. He still has a Dragoon advantage, 7 Dragoons to 6 or 5 now of JangBi. Meanwhile, 3 High Templar are still available to him, and a Dark Templar is getting a lot of kills. It's already got 2, and it's just laying even more waste down. As where is the Observer? Oh my god, JangBi's in a lot of trouble by not being able to deal with this Dark Templar. Just 1 unit. It could be changing the tide of this entire battle here. All his units are getting just slashed away. Shuttle is pushing forward once again here, and he can morph into Archons if he needs them. No more Archons for JangBi. He only has 2 Reavers and a High Templar. That's it. 7 Zealots. Okay, so 7 Zealots along with his Reavers. Meanwhile, just only 1 pitiful Zealot for Shuttle. But that doesn't matter. He's got Archons. He's got 6 High Templar. He's got 7 Dragoons. Shuttle, he is poised to take this game again. It looks like he might have the army supply. And look at that, the drops inside of that 3rd base, which means that the mining is going to get destroyed for JangBi. He doesn't really have enough to defend here. And now getting huge shot off, going to take out the shields. Basically, the EMP, the Scarab is like an EMP on those Zealots. It may not kill them, but it definitely takes out their shields if it will collide here. And another dud Scarab. This is not good. It looks like Movie has started to suddenly control that Reaver here. But Shuttle, he drops a Reaver down again, tries to get another Scarab off, and these Zealots are getting really low on their health. Another Scarab could take them out very easily. It is getting close. So 8 Zealots, 0 Reavers, 0 Archons, 5 High Templars, 7 Dragoons, 4 JangBi, and a drop inside of the inside of that 3rd base. Again, Shuttle doing a really good job of harassment. This is bringing him back in the game where the mining is so important at that 3rd. Basically, there are very little minerals inside of that main base, so not much JangBi can do as far as mining goes if he loses that 3rd. The army supply is just going way into Shuttle's favor with 15 Dragoons and 6 High Templar. It may be too much to overcome. With the Reaver Micro 2 from Shuttle, we've seen him doing such good control so far, only 1 time making the mistake of losing his Shuttle in an early engagement, which meant that he had to pull back and re-macro up and get a stronger army supply here. These players are putting up such an exciting game. Can you believe how well they are both playing right now? And now the Reavers, if they take out this this photon cannon, this is going to be very difficult to deal with. And now a Dark Templar behind it too. He knows that there is no detection, and now he's having to use, JangBi's trying to block the Dark Templar so it can't get in with the additional units that it has, and he's just trying to do-si-do around those Zealots and Dragoons. And JangBi's in a horrible position here, waiting for observers to hurry up and get over to that 3rd base. Instead, he's having to pull his probes because there is another engagement overcoming at that natural base, and he could basically sandwich units. Oh my god, all the probes just died, all of them. JangBi's in a horrible position here. He's gonna have to tap out. GG. Wow. Great game by Shuttle. he will be advancing into the round of 4. He is the last player to advance. So just a quick recap here. We have Zero versus Haya in the semifinals, a ZVT. Meanwhile, C versus Shuttle, a TVP. This will be happening. Get ready next week as we have more cast.